Hello everyone! Have you ever thought about the added value of an Agile coach? If not, this video might be interesting for you. The market is oversaturated with such roles, and in the past 2 years, hundreds of coaches have been laid off. The competition is huge. For a single role in the US market, there were more than 700 applicants and over 100 in the Austrian one. I will add two additional data points to the discussion thanks to a research done by Nadine Drouot in the UK market. 44% of the Agile Coaches freelancer were out of work 2 to 6 months in the last year, and 72% of them were dropping their daily rate 25 to 50%. So then I was asking to myself, okay, Claudio, as an Agile coach, what could you do in order to promote the discussion? And then I was reflecting who best than my internal clients could share their personal experience about the added value of an Agile coach. And that's why I've decided today to invite 4 panelists to promote the conversation. Those will be here with you to share their past experience and the old status quo whenever they were not working with a coach, and then the new status quo whenever the collaboration was done in a fruitful way or without a value. Without further doing, let's give them the ball.
Happy to have you here, guys. So we have Vitaly as a product owner. We have Andy as a full stack developer. We have Ormir as an engineering manager. We have Dimitro as a QA lead. So guys, I'm giving you the ball, and let's refresh a bit the original question, right? So have you ever thought about the added value of an Agile coach? Was the coach you were working in the past experience adding some value to you or not? And if not, please try also to think about the old status quo or the new status quo, before the coach or after the coach. So maybe I can give the ball to our product owner, to Vitaly, to share a bit his experience, and then we can carry over this conversation.
Sure, I would love to. So over the years, my opinion about Agile coaches, Scrum Masters, and similar roles has actually changed dramatically. So when I started in IT and in Agile environments, we worked in a team without any Scrum Master or Agile coach. And I didn't feel that I was missing something, right? So I was kind of in this role where I, as a product owner, also took on the responsibilities of a Scrum Master. And I felt that worked out. So I didn't feel that something was missing. But the next company I worked at, we actually had a Scrum Master in the team, and the difference was very striking. So it's specifically important, I believe, to the product owner role to have the sparring partner, the Agile coach, or the Scrum Master to be like a counterweight in some situations. Because if you think about what is the role of the product owner in the Scrum team, it's defining priorities, defining work packages, and then kind of asking the team to commit to as much as they can to deliver as fast as they can, so to speak, right? Because I'm representing the customer's voice. And the team needs to be empowered enough, strong enough to say no at some point. Similar to me being able to say no to stakeholders when they're asking for more than is I think necessary to deliver or possible to deliver. So these kinds of this kind of empowerment needs to happen in the team, and this is something that where a Scrum Master or an Agile coach can really strongly contribute, where this role supports enabling the team to understand the principles of working in the Agile environment. So this works in the team, but also across the organization, so that we all have the same understanding and we have the same expectations from the team, from the other stakeholders. When do we need what, and how do we communicate to each other in this Agile environment? Same thing is with continuous improvement. I think these two aspects, so Agile principles across the enterprise, but also the continuous improvement. This is something that where an Agile coach or a Scrum Master, I think, contributes greatly to the benefit of the process. Because we all say we're Agile, but there are so many so much waste across, the value chain, and so many things that are kind of blocking the fluidity of a process and whatnot, that sometimes we're just caught up in our thing that we're doing right now and overlook the big picture. The Scrum Master or an Agile coach attached to a team or like several teams is specifically looking for those aspects where a team could optimize something, improve something, and improve the flow. So from that standpoint, that is the benefit from the company, I think. At the same time, there's this continuous improvement process. That's something that the company is very interested in. Every team should be interested in. And this is something where the Agile coach or the Scrum Master can really greatly contribute. And this is what I've seen in practice happening. So those two aspects, I think, from my personal observation, were quite beneficial from my role, but also like to the whole team. And I've seen different examples where a team has been already coached for many years by an Agile coach or a Scrum Master and has benefited greatly, where they are taking on those responsibilities, right? And they're actually living those processes actively. So this is something that I see daily right now. There's one team that I'm attached to or supporting as a product owner where they're very mature in an Agile sense. The other team is still early in their journey and they're still developing in that direction. And the difference is really dramatic. And this is the contribution of an Agile practitioner having contributed to the team's success, having coached them for many years, and this is the result. So from the product owner's perspective, it's a joy to work in a team that is very mature in the sense of Agile practices. So those were my couple points that I wanted to mention. So maybe Ormir, if you have some thoughts to add to that or to expand that, you want to go next?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Vitaly. So yeah, at first I completely agree to all the statements that you made. I definitely something to add to that is when somebody gets introduced for the first time to the role of Scrum Master or Agile Coach. So when you hear for the first time, at least from my perspective, I only noticed the meetings and the planification. So there is a structure, and then I thought, hey, look, a Scrum Master is a person who actually makes sure that this structure is held, like that you do dailies, that you do sprint reviews, and so on and so forth. And working first in a team with no Scrum Master, I thought, hey, I mean, this is easy. You just have to create the meeting, and you just need to make sure that you follow the standard procedure, right? And at the beginning, I also thought, yeah, this looks easy. Everybody can do it. But the moment the moment you actually get a person who is a truly skilled Scrum Master or Agile Coach, you really notice that this role is not at all about having the meeting per se or following the procedure as a procedure, but it's a completely other level, right? So it goes there. You really understand the purpose of each meeting, the importance of it, and you really try to be efficient in those meetings. You really try to communicate and everything. So what I really appreciate in the role of Scrum Master as well as Agile Coach is that it really utilizes the power of someone who is neither an engineer nor a product owner, but has the team in the center and focuses on improving the team. And this improvement of the teams, of course, there are standard procedures or let's say standard frameworks, but the best part is that those frameworks are not mandatory, right? So everything evolves around the team, and that means that the procedures need to be built for the team. So if you have some kind of specific framework that you might want to implement, it wouldn't really matter if it doesn't fit with the team spirit, with the team processes and so on. And the Agile Coach is there to observe that, is there to point out to the team that, hey, guys, look, we are trying this thing, but it's not really working. We should try some new things. And This is on one side. On the other side, it also goes really deep into the team improvements, in the meaning that an agile coach role or the scrum master is to notice some difficulties that there might be going to teams. These kind of notices can go both ways. Either you can go by feeling, like you can sense some kind of nervousness or stress level in the daily meetings, or by data. Like if you start collecting with time, you will see that, hey, look, maybe in the surface, everything is looking shiny and everything is looking good, but the data is showing differently. Like we are not progressing as much as we should, or we are not holding some kind of deadlines. We are not releasing in the goal that we set. And this kind of data, if they are properly analyzed, might show some side effects of something going bad, like communication cross team not happening correctly. It might show that some deliveries are constantly pushed back, and so on and so on. Yeah. So that is my first intro onto this role. Of my opinion. Okay.
Data-driven conversation, right, Ormir? So data-driven conversation. And actually, I think also I wanted to give a disclaimer before we move the ball to someone else. We oversimplified, right? So we intend the Scrum Master whenever there is this role, which is normally following one or two teams. And Agile Coach is pretty much someone which is most of the time a bit more doing one or two steps back and taking care about the organizational maturity, and most of the times they can also lead the leadership team and coach the entire organization, right? So we specify that. I would like also to address and ask to the remaining audience, so the QA lead Dimitro, and as well to Andy, so a full stack developer, which kind of suggestion, after you will be sharing your personal experience, which kind of suggestion would you give to the Agile Coach and Scrum Master? So what should be the not to miss technique behavior for them to avoid to be ideally laid off or lose a job, whether it's something that we can influence or not, but what would be your 2 cents? So Dimitro or Andy, who want to pick up the ball?
Yeah, I can pick up the ball.
Okay, go on.
Oh. Okay. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, about me, I would think about all my work experience, and when I go back to my early career, at that time I didn't have any agile or Scrum Master coach whatsoever, and software development experience was actually based on the knowledge of engineers, and whatever at that time we knew about different software development life cycles and how we can be productive, effective, and what kind of problems we actually face in our daily life at work. Those we would try to address with different techniques, and also sometimes if we had the previous experience that worked, so which was successful, we would incorporate some habits, healthy habits that would help to grow in a better team, right? A bit, let's say, in the mid period of my experience, I already had a few agile coaches and Scrum Masters, but I think I just got lucky to work in the teams which didn't really need that much of involvement of agile coach, Scrum Master, because even though we had one, I didn't really know what kind of questions I could come up with, or what kind of help I can get from this particular role. And even when we have, let's say, within team discussion, or we have some peer reviews from our stakeholders and managers, we used to get quite positive feedback, which made me think that probably agile coaches and Scrum Masters were involved where it was really necessary and things were really on fire. So a bit later in my work life, there were, let's say, a few, I can think of two, that were really closely involved into our team's life. And to be honest, it was difficult to see the difference that Agile Coach, or at that time it was a Scrum Master, was actually bringing to the table. So whatever we used to have or do 2 months ago, we still do the same pretty much now. The only difference would be that the person just facilitates the meetings, asks some questions from the book, and yeah, you don't really understand what is our goal as a team, right? But then again, when we come back to the role or to the position with the good experience that I actually experienced, and mainly with you, I would say that there were a lot of great things which we as a team incorporated that really was a game changer. And as Ormir mentioned, not only facilitating the meetings. Yeah, when it comes to do it yourself, it's super difficult, and sometimes also this context switching and trying to be representative from your role and your perspective, and at the same time facilitating the meeting is quite challenging. So now that I would like to mention what kind of great things I noticed from Agile Coach or Scrum Master experience was actually increasing the team efficiency, yeah, and productivity. I think this also comes from different perspectives than PAM. So when you have product engineering and machine learning engineers, and everyone is usually very deep into our own topics that we handle, usually you would be like going from line to line. Okay, this is my part of the job, this is your part of the job, this is someone else's part of the job, and you really try to be focused on your part of the job to be able to deliver as a team. But only when you have a very experienced or a good Scrum Master, you would actually see that during facilitation of dailies, you would have a great questions which would make, so for example, if you have any issues at the moment, if there is anyone to help you out there, if we have any blockers. So this actually provokes people to get involved into someone else's issue and maybe enable them to progress faster. At the end of the day, again, the same with a clear scope of sprint planning. When you have a goal, there is this famous quote, yeah, if everything is priorities, then nothing is. Or the same with urgency and other things. I think this also helps to give a proper direction and the goal for everyone to, as a team, to accomplish. And if everyone is trying to, firefight with all the important things everywhere, it really doesn't work out that well. Yeah, so getting the realistic goals, getting outside perspective, being able to actually, this is another thing. So as you progress, Scrum Master would have these retrospectives, different metrics about the team. You don't worry because you can focus on your own thing that actually you as an individual contributor within the team bring the value. And then when you do these meetings like retrospectives or sprint plannings, whatever, all the different ceremonies that are a part of Agile, usually you would have this different perspective and everything is already data driven. Yeah, it's already supported with all the numbers, with everything, and you see your progress. So one of the great things I can mention is Agile Coach or Scrum Master, if a great one, would help people to grow a healthy habits and would help to observe the progression of this growth. And this would be visible. Yeah, and I really like, because at the end of the day, when everyone from the team grow a single habit to do things in a certain way to get to a very high efficiency, you feel involved. You also bring the team spirit to a certain level where people are willingly want to help you out to be able to achieve this goal at the end of the day. And without a Scrum Master, it's actually pretty tough, because it's like trying to establish a philosophy that quality is a responsibility of a whole team, when someone is just focused on just developing, someone is just on that the product targets are reaching, and someone that, okay, these tests are just passing, and pretty difficult. Yeah.
So I guess, Dima, this will be the added value and the
Yeah.
secret ingredient that you would like to share with the other coaches or Scrum Masters, right? And bearing in mind that we got 7 minutes left, actually, I think we can conclude this roundtable with Andy, so the full stack developer, to share his experience, and then maybe we can have 2 minutes left for the greetings. Yeah.
Cool. I would really not want to repeat everything that you just guys said. Yeah, for me, I mean, I guess this role is really crucial for me. Personally, my best pick in terms of what a Scrum Master slash Agile Coach should do, in my opinion, is to support the team in a psychological matter. And I guess not many people think about this, but it's actually super important in my opinion. Since we're humans and we will for sure get into any kind of conflict, constructed or maybe not the fun ones. But yeah, we're humans, and sometimes these things happen, and then you would like to have, maybe, as Vitaly said in the beginning, a sparring partner who can moderate those kind of meetings, and get involved, try to share the opinion with someone and stuff like that. I would also like to mention that we're obviously different people, different personalities. We're getting motivated in a completely different way. And having somebody who actually has the time to, talk with everybody, and understand the psychological differences between us is actually really crucial for a good team well-being, In principle, very, very short, I think the Scrum Master slash Agile Coach is, the job is basically towards the team. These people need to make sure the teams are working properly. And everybody in the IT world are actually working in teams. And if they're not, they're probably not developing that much. But yeah, and when you're dealing with other people, you need somebody to mediate. Yeah, and this is the thing. To answer your question, Claudio, what I would suggest to the people who endeavor into this role, I would definitely ask these guys to have meetings with individuals on an often basis, because sometimes we might lose some of the important aspects because we are not all the time in contact. And yeah, I, I guess that's all what I wanted to say.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. So if I should wrap it up, really the human touch, right? So you said that the human touch is made the individual and the interaction, actually, based on also the manifesto, right? Are very, very important things together with the agility practices. We had 4 minutes to wrap it up. I simply wanted to give one hint, and as my position as well, so guys, don't limit yourself as an Agile Coach or Scrum Master to only IT teams. Try to obviously start maybe with this level 1, try level 1 with the teams, but go beyond that. If we don't optimize the entire system, if we don't really start to work with the other departments, sales, marketing, support, it's not going to work, because you are going to speak to different languages and you optimize at some extent, and then you are unable to scale it. So the value deliver, the different metrics that you could measure for the entire organization, so the time to market or some other indicators, you will not really see a progress there if we don't start optimizing and move from agile to business agility. And these are my 2 cents. How these kind of things could be inspected? Maybe I'm not sure if Vitaly or Ormit could elaborate more, but I think we did a good job in the past with the utilization rate or with the inspection and bringing the data to the conversation.
Yeah, and if I can add just one thing, just to piggyback on the point that you just made with the data, I think this is one of the crucial aspects that the existing Scrum Masters and Agile coaches, who are currently working in that role, need to kind of highlight a bit more the value that they're providing, because this is often overlooked, and this is what happens often. You say, okay, here's a team that is providing value, but what is the Agile coach actually doing? This is not very visible outside of the actual team. So it's kind of similar also to the product owner role. I'm not physically actively developing code, right? So I'm not writing code. So I'm just doing stuff, right? But what is the value of that stuff, right? So this is my job to provide a better understanding to the stakeholders within the company. What is the value add of my contribution? And I think it's very similar to the Agile coach and the any Agile practitioner in that sense, to be able to show to the outside world, outside of this little team or any organization piece that the Agile practitioner is actually embedded in, like what is the actual contribution? What is the value add? I don't know how. This is still kind of not super clear to me in my head, but I think this is the point that needs to be kind of emphasized a bit more, because this is then showing how indispensable this role is to the enterprise on the team level, but also, as you just mentioned, on the corporate level to, facilitate those discoveries and whatnot.
So thank you guys for this roundtable. I think now it's time to wrap it up. We got 1 minute left. You finished with the powerful question, Vitaly, so I don't really know why. So maybe that could be the pillar and the prerequisite for another discussion in the future. So guys, if you liked our video, please let us know in the comments here below. And thank you for watching. Thank you.
And what do you think we have missed in this conversation? What is your opinion? What is your personal story? What do you think is the real added value of an Agile coach? Share it into a comment here below and let us know.